Hello, my name is Taylor Collins. I'm the licensed counselor and student wellness coordinator at OU Tulsa. Thank you for tuning into the Fill Your Cup mini-series on maintaining energy levels and relationships that is being recorded for the OU Tulsa student, faculty, and staff population. September is Wellbeing Awareness Month. It started as a single week in 2021 and has grown into a month-long celebration of resources to help you thrive. This year's theme, Fill Your Cup, is a reminder to refuel through meditation, learning, planting, and connection. In this recording, we will look at some of the common issues that can drain our energy in relationships and how the OU Tulsa community, student, faculty, and staff can protect their well-being. We'll explore how to maintain healthy boundaries with others, when and how to seek support, and ways to recharge through intentional self-care practices. The goal is to help you feel more balanced, supported, and energized in your daily connections. So number one, have you ever left a conversation feeling drained? Energy in relationships impact academics, work, and well-being. Think about inevitable conflict and disagreement while we're on campus or really anywhere. Think about how you have to support your colleagues and peers sometimes who are struggling. And just think about the constant need to navigate professional hierarchies as a student, faculty, or a staff member at OU Tulsa. The point is, navigating those issues like these can test our limitations and lead to us feeling drained. So understanding what drains us is really key first to identify those situations. So let's talk a little bit more about what really does drain our energy. Well, think about constant availability with technology and that the need that we're always seemingly available and how that availability can lead to us feeling very distracted at times and prevent us from being productive in the ways that we want to be. And so the availability and access paired with that distractions can be a drainer. Think about one-sided relationships that we feel like we have to maintain for one reason or another. Perhaps there is a good reason that we have to maintain that one-sided relationship. Yet inevitably, those relationships can drain us as well if we don't recognize that and do something to address that one way or another. Think about misaligned expectations. Frustration and rumination can be triggered due to the inability to clarify an expectation consistently with other parties that you might have to interact with at OU Tulsa. Think about changes in policies, changes in the syllabus or due dates, for instance, or even changes in roles and responsibilities. That can lead to a lot of rumination and frustration if we're not careful about those, how we deal with those misaligned expectations and how they might drain us when we inevitably have to deal with them. Think about information overload in an academic setting. Whether we're faculty, staff, or student, that can make us feel overwhelmed and we don't know what to do. And then when we start to feel that way, that can lead to avoidance. That can lead to procrastination. And we know that avoidance and procrastination can really drain our energies. Finally, think about constant role switching that we're having to do as faculty, staff, and students, because those are our roles at OU Tulsa. Yet we also understand that's not the only role we operate in our lives. And we are constantly trying to seek a healthy balance in all those roles, especially those balances with the roles outside of OU Tulsa. And yet, inevitably, we can struggle with balancing the roles, which leads to role strain. And that role strain can really drain our energies. So now that we have an idea of what can drain our energy, let's talk a little bit about what can restore it. Well, we obviously know that having reciprocity in relationships is the number one way. Do we feel like we're being supported in a relationship? And do we feel like we're consistently supporting others in those relationships? And if not, we might question whether that's a one sided relationship. And connected to that, do we have shared values and goals in those relationships? Are we on the same page with how we're treating others and how we want to be treated? Or are we not on the same page? And if we're not, that can lead to, obviously draining energy. Or it can lead to restoring energy and maintaining it. And along with that, are we able to set healthy boundaries with others? And on the flip side of that, are we able to respect the healthy boundaries that others set with us? Finally, can we engage in consistent self care developed through habit building that can be very helpful when we have to maybe deal with those one sided relationships, for instance? So, now that we sort of have an idea of a broad overview of what can restore our energy, I'm going to take some time to talk about four different strategies within those categories that we can hopefully take inspiration from to work on. Strategy one, protecting our boundaries. Boundaries protect your energy, they help maintain energy. There are different boundaries. We can have healthy boundaries, we can have porous ones, and we can have really rigid ones. And think about different boundary types like emotional boundaries, time boundaries, physical ones, intellectual boundaries. And so for students, that might look like blocking study time. So you have time that's not distracted, that you're trying to work on your study time. Or alternatively, trying to set aside time for loved ones and enjoying other parts of your life so it doesn't seem like being a student just completely takes over. For faculty and staff, can you set healthy boundary related to email response windows, for instance? Or is that a struggle? Understanding the different types of boundaries and what boundary could be appropriate in a different setting can be really key to protecting your energy. So, boundaries. Can we do mindful check ins where we try to notice more often what drains our energies versus what restores them? We can do this by asking ourselves, am I feeling energized or depleted after an interaction? Or really any time when we want to try to check in with ourselves with curiosity, which is really key here. Can we be curious? And that curiosity starts with our body and what we're feeling, with the sensations. Are we feeling tense? Are we feeling relaxed? Are we feeling energetic or fatigued after an interaction? Can we name the emotions we're feeling? Can we, even if they're mixed, that are present right now, rather than stonewalling on them and letting them build up and not working through them, not processing them? Can we notice where our mind's at? Are we feeling scattered, focused? Are our thoughts racing? Or is that interaction making us think a little more foggy as a result? And maybe also, what would be most helpful in this moment? Perhaps it's rest. Perhaps it's some other physical need like water. Perhaps it's movement. Perhaps that interaction suggests we need support from someone else because that was a really tough one. Or maybe we need some quiet and solitude time to just be and not think about the interaction. Or alternatively, do our own journaling, our own processing where we work through whatever just happened in our own way. Finally, can we check in with our values and direction and ask, am I moving today in alignment with what matters to me? Mindful check ins can really, again, help us be aware of what drains our energy and what restores our energy. Strategy three, diversifying our support. It's really important that we don't rely on one person for all our support needs. Can it be a mix of people? friends, family members, mentors, colleagues, or counselors. Asking for support is critical. And diversifying that support is also critical when we think about trying to be successful and trying to be resilient during whatever tough times we're going through in life. Especially when we're trying to maintain all of our relationships and not overburden one party with too much information or too much need. Have you ever done that before? I know I have. Or maybe you felt like you've burdened one party too much with too much need. Well, diversifying our support can be a way of addressing that problem that sometimes happens. Strategy 4, recovery practices. Can we take time to recharge between those roles? And what I mean by that is, can we like maybe use the tiny habit method where we anchor these micro breaks like deep breaths or short walks and transition rituals into existing activities we already do. Change doesn't come from motivation or willpower necessarily, but from designing small, easy habits that grow naturally. So, for instance, maybe wash our hands a little more mindfully next time, where we really focus on the temperature and the soap and what it really feels like to wash our hands and take a moment to focus on that. Can we engage in a mindful meditation walk, or we walk around campus outside for a moment and let the sun feel good on our neck, or focus on the sensations of what we can hear, smell, or see? Or focus on our breath or the feeling of the walking around with our feet. And take a moment to not be distracted by our phone, but just be present in the moment for 5 minutes even. That can be so key in just taking a short micro break to restore our energies. Can we take a deep breath as we walk down the hallway, or even take three deep breaths as we walk down the hallway as we're transitioning from one activity to another? Or maybe on the way home from work, can we reflect on three things that went well? Some self compassion, some gratitude that went well in the day with a task or an activity, and be mindful of that. And then maybe even remind ourselves the day is over. The day is over as we transition from work to home or from student to friend. And finally, when we think about self care, can we find truly engaging activities that create good headspace, whether it be the gym, reading, quality time with others, or some other activity that is unique to you, that you know that you have cultivated or explored or figured out that you enjoy, that can be relaxing and where you can be present and recharge your batteries. Now that we've talked through some of those strategies, I also would like to take a moment to point out OU Tulsa resources. Timely Care is a great new resource that we just rolled out for students. This is an online supplemental counseling services that offers counseling services, uh, self-care resources, and wellness programming for students online, in addition to the services we offer here on campus. Similarly, we offer EAP benefits for faculty and staff that includes counseling services and wellness services. And for all, we offer campus wellness programming, including the gym, yoga classes, and wellness events like this in September and year round. And we have obviously OU Student Affairs with student counseling services, student health services, student accommodation services, OU advocates, and student organization support. And Lori, Josh, Skylar, and Mackenzie all do a great job. And Jeannie does a great job too of supporting our students here. Come and seek us out. We can help you. Finally, in conclusion, I give us this call to action. Can we all notice what drains our energies and what restores our energies and interactions with others and in our self-care behaviors? Can we be willing to know our boundaries, identify our boundaries, set boundaries with others, and respect boundaries, healthy ones that others set with us? Can we diversify our support network so we don't overwhelm people too much with our needs? And can we work on our self care? Can we work on the tiny habit method where we develop those micro breaks, those tiny rituals that can help us be resilient and restore our energies throughout the day? So I wanted to have a call to action again to all of us. Can we work on setting one small energy protecting boundary or one restoring boundary that can help restore our energy based on what we've talked about today? Maybe it's setting a boundary. Maybe it's clarifying an expectation. Maybe it's taking time for yourself. And then can we notice how that feels? And then internalize that feeling and build it into a habit. Remember, maintaining your energy helps you show up fully. Thank you so much. Again, my name's Taylor Collins. I'm a licensed counselor and student wellness coordinator at OU Tulsa. This has been the Fill Your Cup mini series on maintaining energy levels in relationships. My contact information is on the screen. I encourage you all to write that down if you're interested in contacting me for any services, including wellness events and counseling services. I also encourage you all to check out the other wellness events going on at OU Tulsa in the month of September and year long that are being advertised around campus, on our website, and in email correspondence that I'm sure you've received. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the WAM mini series on healthy relationships. If y'all have any questions, definitely drop it in the chat so I can get these to Taylor and he would be able to personally get back to you. If not, enjoy your Friday. Think about that call to action and that one thing you're going to work on this coming week. Y'all have a good day.